Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above. Today's the day, Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew New Year. We've been prepared for this for over a year, and finally, here we are, the last day of the Shmita, the sabbatical year. Today is officially the end of the 7-year cycle I've been talking about on this channel and in interviews for almost 2 years now. So shout out to the Wolf Pack. If you know, you know. I'm grateful for every single one of you, sending you all love. In today's video, I'm going to share my outlook for this critical week as we transition into the year of the Jubilee. And for those of you that have been following along and watched my last video that I put out on XRP, we watched my price target of 55 cents come to life. I had so many people reach out to me to say thanks and show gratitude for that analysis. And I just wanted to prepare everyone in advance on that XRP play, and it was amazing to watch it come to life. My Patreon supporters were actually aware of that exact breakout setup for XRP over 2 weeks ago. That was on my Red Pill podcast, which is one of the benefits of the weekly podcast that I post on my Patreon for those who want more behind the scenes content. So we have a lot to cover in today's video, but before I get into that, I wanted to let everyone know that I am actually running a sale on my courses until the end of the month. I had a lot of people reach out to me showing interest in my courses over the past couple weeks, so I decided to hook the Wolf Pack up with this flash sale that'll be going on exclusively until October 1st. So if you want to take advantage of the sale, you can visit watersabove.com/sale and use the promo code watersabove. It's written in all lowercase and as one word, and apply that promo code at checkout. So I actually have 3 courses available. I have this crypto mastermind that covers investment basics, how to effectively invest in these markets, building your portfolio and developing your own investment thesis, and learn how to do technical analysis, read the charts on your own, combine all those skills with decoding using Gematria Numerology and Astrology. And this course also includes my exit strategy blueprint that teaches you how to develop a plan to exit the market based on your goals. And I show you my tips and tricks to figuring out the perfect prices to sell and the mindset skills so you can control your emotions during that phase. It is my most popular course and recommended to those who are new to my work, or if you'd like to grasp the concepts I discuss in my videos and be able to learn my strategies so you can have this skill for a lifetime and create generational wealth. Then I have my new expansion mastermind. It's my first coaching course where I walk you through my step-by-step process to expand your consciousness, learn how to detoxify your body, and effectively practice fasting, strategies to get back your attention and remove distractions so you can become more focused and master any skill while unlocking your infinite potential in the process. And lastly, I have my advanced trading course, which is for advanced analysts only. I would not recommend this to beginners. It's actually best that if someone is a beginner or intermediate in these markets, that they actually do my crypto mastermind first and consider this course as part 1, while the advanced trading course is part 2 in that series. I designed those courses so they flow nicely into each other. So that promo code that I shared earlier, Waters Above, on the watersabove.com/sale link, that promo code can be used multiple times. So if you wanted to package together courses, you can do that with this discount and purchase them anytime between now and the end of the month, and this promo code will be active. So the courses are all a one-time payment for lifetime access. So once you purchase, you never need to worry about anything else. You'll have lifetime access. And my new expansion mastermind course will actually be increasing in price on October 1st. So this is the best opportunity to get it at the lowest price available. And I'll also be adding a new chapter to this expansion mastermind by mid-October, probably around the 2nd week of October. So this course will then have over 70 videos packed with value. It's my best work to date and recommended to the people who are interested in the topics I discussed during my live streams. So that's the update. Remember, watersabove.com/sale. Promo code at checkout is watersabove, and that info will also be in the description of this video and the pinned comment below. I really appreciate all your support and looking forward to the rest of this year with the Wolf Pack. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria Numerology and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. So in my last video, we had this moment around the 20-minute mark, exactly, kind of ironically actually. It was at 20 minutes and 22 seconds. The video was called XRP Breakout Price Target Exposed. I released this video before XRP broke out, and I actually mentioned exactly around this timestamp of 20 minutes and 22 seconds that I anticipated a daily close of around 49 cents, and then the next day seeing XRP hit 55 to 56 cents. And if we actually go back and watch how that all played out, only hours after I posted this video live to YouTube, we saw XRP pump pretty much up into the daily close within 1% of 49 cents. It closed right around that target, and then right after that daily close, it shot up right to around 55, almost 56 cents right after that daily close, followed by a rejection. And then I mentioned that I would not be surprised. I actually said it would hit 55 to 56 cents and then keel over. It's like verbatim what I said. So that play pretty much happened perfectly. And I was sharing the more esoteric purpose behind the 49 cent target and even that 55 cent target. The 49 was because we were in what I was calling Jubilee. So in the more, esoteric conversation, Jubilee is 7 cycles of 7 Shmita, which is 49 years, and Jubilee is practiced on the 50th year, and that will be starting tomorrow. So I said that would be pretty amazing if we saw XRP hit the 49 cent target, and then that 55 cents was because we had so many connections with the 55 this entire year. Remember, America had its Pluto's return, first time since 1776. And if you see Pluto's return in Gematria, it gives you 55. We also had the Platinum Jubilee, and that Platinum Jubilee was for the Queen Elizabeth. You see Platinum Jubilee is 55 and Queen Elizabeth is 55. And, we had so many connections throughout the year, so you could just go back and watch my videos and validate that. But the fact that it shot up to 55, almost 56 cents was not weird to me, because I said to everyone, this is a very volatile coin and that's something to anticipate. So again, if you want to rewatch that part of that video, it was right around that 20-minute, 22-second mark. Coincidentally, and this is the amazing part of this code and what happens when you start dialing into this code yourself. Well, that video was released on the 22nd of September. The timestamp was around 20 minutes and 22 seconds, the 222, and that daily candle for XRP was 22%. So that's amazing. Okay, so we're dialed into the code here. The waters above Wolfpack is really just like, broken the matrix. But anyways, getting back, I want to get into some dates with you guys, and I'll be going over the XRPTA in a moment just to give you guys a little bit of a recap and let you know if there's any possible upside targets to consider, and of course the downside targets. So with that being said, today is officially Rosh Hashanah. We'll go over here to the Hebrew calendar, and you're seeing Tishri 1, so this is the day. And tomorrow will be Rosh Hashanah day 2 observed, and this means that pretty much tonight around sunset, we will be past the end of the Shemitah and actively in the year of 5,783 Hebrew year. So we are in that transition date today. Again, I've been teaching you guys about this for almost 2 years now, and this is amazing that we finally made it. And I've been getting a lot of questions lately, and it's predominantly from newer people that have come to my work, either from interviews or perhaps just the algorithm, but no one was really calling for crashes on this date, especially me. I was talking about how I was anticipating the 1973 play out as a big possibility, meaning if I had to put my chips in a basket, it would be more that cycle. So I did make a video thoroughly discussing the 1973 market, the comparison between 1971 through 1975, and how I saw a similar environment set up. Again, we are in a much different environment, of course, today, because we have all this technology, etc. But what I'm trying to say is, if you were to look at the blueprint, it's very similar, much more similar than what we saw in like 2000, where we just had the isolated dot-com bubble, or in 2008, where we just had the isolated housing bubble. Like, this entire thing is a bubble right now. And I see that kind of setup similar to when President Nixon was around with the Nixon shock, you know, the gold standard petrodollar conversation. And then we had the 1973 to 1975 recession. So I made a video over on Patreon called The Jubilee Decoded. It's very thorough. Go watch that if you're interested. But getting back to this, you can see that the market cycle top happened in January. And then we actually had a downtrend into the end of August, pretty much. Let me show you the moon cycle. So you can see right there, pretty much in that transition of the full moon of August, full moon of September, and then in this red box territory, that is the end of the Shemitah. So it's from this start of the red box over to here. That is the Shemitah year. And then after we ended it, we actually moved up all the way until the end of October. There was a relief rally, but pay attention to two things. We have this break of support right here, where we went slightly lower, then we had a W bullish breakout into a bull trap, which got rejected and comes down into Q4. So I'm not saying it's going to play perfectly out that way, but just be open-minded and consider what I'm trying to discuss, because that's something that I've brought up to you guys a long time ago. This isn't like new. I've just been having too many people reach out being like, it's the day, it's Rosh Hashanah, are we crashing yet? It's like, guys, we've been in a perpetual downtrend, what most analysts would call a bear market now, since the beginning of the year. Relax. You know, I know the wolf pack is relaxed, but if you're new here, take a breath. It's going to be okay. Learn, take notes while you're watching these videos. It's going to bring you an immense amount of value. The people that are trying to time market crashes, they're probably not going to be ready to respond to a market crash. So what separates us from the rest is the timing of it is cute and all, but what's more important is how you will react when the crash does come. Will you be the one buying the dip? People waste more energy on trying to time the market and don't actually use the day-to-day to develop a plan, how they will rebuild their portfolio or develop their own investment thesis leading into these big volatile shakeouts. So those are words of wisdom, guys. Between now and any next big move in the market, it's time for you to be developing your plan. And once you've developed that plan, you must trade that plan. Okay, so anyways, getting back to the similarities, we have this break of support. Just like recently, we've had a break of support slightly lower. And I would not be surprised if this is just a bear trap that gets bought back up, maybe comes back to the 382, 236. It really doesn't matter. All I'm trying to do with this is just be open-minded to this cycle being more similar to 1973, but the overall crash amount, meaning the percentage from high to the incoming lows, will be similar to every other Shemitah. So I don't want to take too much time on this, but again, I wanted to let you guys know about the setup for this week and how I would not be surprised if we actually pivot out of these recent lows, the ones that we're getting, and I'll show you our local market, and then move up bullishly into the October eclipse. So let me just show you really quickly. The eclipses are right here. You could see October 25th. It's a partial solar eclipse. I would not be surprised if we actually moved up into that. It is a new moon. Let me show you the moon phases, and you can see right here, October 25th is a new moon. So you guys see the method to my madness and the way I'm thinking about this now? What happens in these cycles is we do have crashes after the end of the Shemitah, but every single Shemitah is slightly different. Sometimes we crash very heavy before them and then recover, but this time is actually looking a lot more similar to 1973. And if you look at the iteration of having this big spike up into August or May, which is what happened in most years, that is no different than the dot-com bubble. That's no different than the 2007, 2008 market. I mean, it's almost identical. So just be open-minded to this right now, guys. Be patient, but the words of wisdom here are use this time to plan. How will you react if the market keels over and goes lower? And inside of that Jubilee Decoded video, I made a very good presentation discussing the 2014-2015 Bitcoin market. And let me just show you that really quickly so you could kind of see what's going on. So this is the last Shemitah we had, and Bitcoin was part of the show, and also was XRP. And you can see we hit cycle highs around December, and then the market bottomed once around January. And then this is from the Shemitah starting to the Shemitah ending. We had a huge double bottom pullback, and then it just recovered into the end. So that tells us that if there was to be a repeat in cycles for cryptocurrency, we might have already bottomed in Bitcoin. No one knows. This is really interesting how in this setup of 2014, 2015, Bitcoin actually hit into the end of Shemitah and then just had a recovery phase. And you can see we went on to the next bull run. I mean, this is a perfect example of a bull run, by the way, because if you were to go to the weekly chart, you'll see the 21 exponential. Bitcoin just kept retesting the 21 exponential in the weekly over and over and over again, about 8-9 times before it just ended in this blow off top. Am I saying this is going to be an exact repeat? Not necessarily, but I do feel by April into May of 2023, Bitcoin will be recovered. Bitcoin will be on to new highs into the following year of 2024. So what I mean by that is you see this recovery energy. I think that will be noticeable in Bitcoin by April to May of 2023. And I'm willing to stick to that. That's my word. That's going to be part of my analysis moving forward, because now that we're over the Shemitah and we're going to use this next couple months to see how it plays out between today and the eclipse of November 7th, which I talk about in every video, this eclipse that'll be moving into this time frame. Show you right here. That's the time frame that I'm looking for a shakeout to the downside. But by the end of Q1 of 2023, I think the crypto market in isolation will be recovered. And I don't mean it's going to be recovered to new all-time highs by that date. I mean, it will start to look like a noticeable recovery like this. Okay? So when do I think Bitcoin's going to hit like new all-time highs and all that? It'll be after the next halving. That's another piece of analysis that I'm not trying to overthink. I know these markets are starting to get a little more extended. I know that we still have like 20,000 altcoins that kind of just need to get washed out. I believe between now and November, perhaps even mid-November, that will be the time frame we see that big washout. Until then, it's just about developing a plan, knowing how you'll respond to the market. So if that's confusing to anyone, please go watch my Shmita and Jubilee Decoded videos over on my Patreon. It's going to fill you in with so much information regarding the overall setup. But I'm giving you guys like 5 months or 6 months of price action right now. So you're welcome. But moving forward, I wanted to share a couple things important about today's date, one of which is that it is the 96 days left in the year. We know that the hologram lizard queen allegedly died at 96, and this date being on the 96 days left in the year is not surprising to me. But one thing that's amazing about this date is also the 23 date numerology. And remember that number 23 actually shows up in Jubilee in the Chaldean cipher, and I'm calling tomorrow to be the start of, officially the start of Jubilee, as we transition into the next Hebrew year, which is going to be the year 5783, which also equals 23. And 23 is the 9th prime number. The 9 is the number of everything, or the number of spatial infinity. Go research the 369 code and all the mathematics surrounding that. It's really fascinating. But moving forward, another interesting thing about tomorrow, the 27th, is it will be the same day, or the actual 482nd anniversary of the formation of the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order. And this will also be the same day as the release of Cardano, ADA, which happened about 5 years ago. And Cardano also gives us that 23 in Chaldean. So coincidence? I'm not entirely sure, but I do think that's really interesting. I do have content coming out in the future regarding Cardano and its placement in this global economy, whatever you want to call it, quantum system, or the continuation of the scam, but just on the blockchain. So moving forward, one of the dates that I have in mind will actually be this upcoming Thursday. And the reason why is this is 93 days left in the year. And remember, the Shemitah is the Sabbath year, the sabbatical year, which has everything to do with Saturn. And Saturn equals 93. So this will be the first 93 connection we have into the post-Shemitah time frame. So it's interesting in that regard. We'll see how that plays out. Also, this will be 2 days officially after the start of Jubilee, which follows that theme of twos. So we've been talking about the theme here of the number 2, 22, and 222 this entire year. Remember back in probably Q4 of 2021, I told everyone here on this YouTube channel that I anticipate the pandemic to end around May of 2022. How did I know that would happen? Because Spanish flu lasted 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. Just like if you look into the time frame that we just experienced, right around that transition between February all the way to June, we saw a lot of the world starting to reopen. Even Australia just recently reopened without the same restrictions that they used to have, which is a sign that this pandemic is starting to subside because they're about to move on to the next phase of this PSYOP, which is things that are regarding specifically financials, restructuring with Jubilee, and everything that could possibly be the harbinger of the events that create rhyme and reason for the event. Remember, back in 2000, 2001, they had everything to blame on that 9/11 event. Well, I believe we're about to see an event like that happen soon. Okay? So I hope this is all kind of gathering and becoming this sensible protocol in your minds. As you can see, I'm very calm about this. I'm not worried at all because I've been prepared now for years of whatever happens will happen. I'm living in the present moment, in the now. I'm so aware that it's just brought this patience and calmness to me, and I already have my plan developed. So whatever happens, I'll know how to respond to it, instead of the masses will just being reactionary to it. And I don't want you guys to be caught up in that. And that was the purpose of preparing you guys far in advance with this gnosis. So remember, this will be 2 days after the event, and we had the start of the Chinese New Year being on 2/2. We had Pluto's return being on 2/22. We know that it was the Hebrew year of 5,782, which is the 22. We're in the Gregorian year of 222. I mean, how many more twos do you want to say? So this will be officially 2 days after the start of Jubilee, the second day of Jubilee, and this has that 93 connection coming back to Saturn, which has everything to do with the Shemitah and the sabbatical year. So also another interesting connection that I found is if you look at Jubilee, the word, you have that 64. And if you go to the day leaving 64 days left in the year, that will be the 28th of October. You could see October 28th, and that leaves 64 days left in the year. What's really interesting about this is if you connect it to Elul 29, which is Rosh Hashanah Eve, that'll be the 25th, you're going to see an amazing connection here, which is 33 days. So this is an important number to the occult, to the elite, and in Gnosticism, 33rd degree. You're well aware of this number. I don't need to break it down too much, but just think about that. Think about how there's a 33 connection between the day before we have Shemitah and this day leaving 64 days left in the year, which has the 64 match to the word Jubilee in English ordinal cipher, just pure cipher A, B, C equals 1, 2, 3. This is very basic Gematria, guys, but this is a very important connection that was made because I have one more thing to say about this. This will be 3 days after that solar eclipse that happens in October. So 33 days connected to this date, and it'll be 3 days after that event of the solar eclipse. Remember, if we go back to that 1973 market, let me just show you that really quickly. If I could find it, I don't want to waste too much time in this video, but if I go back to that 1973 market, we're going to see something pretty amazing about that connection to around that time frame. Hopefully this loads up for you guys, but I do think it's important to bring up. So here we are. So you can see pretty much into October 28th, October 29th, when the market opened on that Monday, on October 29th, we hit top right around 997 and then just keeled over from there, right on that Monday open. So that will be a Friday, a market close. Pretty interesting to see if we get a similar play out. Again, I don't know if our relief rally will be as much because we have a much different market today, but structurally, like looking at the actual fractal, it wouldn't surprise me. And also, before I move on, I also wouldn't be surprised if the market started keeling over into the October full moon. Does it matter? No. Will I be buying the dip? Yes. I really couldn't give a shit anymore about when these moves to the downside happen because I've been talking about them for so long now. We have so much further to go on the S&P 500. It is silly. Okay, I know this market has to move down more. As for crypto and specifically Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and like the blue chip cryptos, that is a conversation that might be isolated because crypto is the future economy. Blockchain is the future of the world technologically. So we're going to have like a handing off the baton event from the tech stocks to crypto, and crypto will become more mature. It'll become regulated. It'll become a household name. And when that day comes, it'll lose the ROI that it used to have. It'll become more accepted by the masses and by institutions. And then it'll just be like the tech stocks all over again. So look at it on that time horizon. When people were looking at Amazon back in the dot-com bubble crash, they were calling it a scam. It lost a ton of value. But then look at where it's at today. It's pretty much the number one leader in e-commerce. So moving forward, that was an interesting connection that I wanted to share with you guys about that 33 moving into that eclipse. And one thing to say about solar eclipse in Gematria, and this will bring us back to XRP. You could see solar eclipse equals 134 and Ripple XRP equals 134. It's like an anagram of pi, 3.14. So that 134 connection is really amazing. One other thing to say is Ripple XRP gives you that 42 in Chaldean, as well as if you take from Rosh Hashanah, which is today, over to the eclipse of the lunar eclipse of November 7th, you get 42 days. So that connection there could lead to bullish price action for XRP moving into this October eclipse of that time frame of the 25th, like I shared with you guys in correlation to the 1973 stock market. So let's get into the TA. I don't want to make this video crazy long, but I wanted to share that with you guys. So here we are. I'm just going to recap the Bitcoin, the XRP breakout, and then we're going to finish it off on Bitcoin and Ethereum, excuse me. So we had this pattern. I had my measured move. The measured move came perfectly to the daily closes, the daily close on the 23rd of September. We hit my upside target that I was saying, 55 cents to 56 cents. Now we've rolled over and today's candle is looking pretty bloody. Now, this doesn't surprise me because XRP likes to do these very dramatic pumps. Then it likes to build a little bit of structure. Then it will take off for another run up. But you can see these rejection levels. Let me actually zoom out of this and show you what's up. Remember, the reason I told you 55 to 56 cents was because of these wicks on the downside right here. And I said this was your break of support before we went one leg lower. And that's exactly why we hit those levels. That was a buy wall set, or sorry, a sell wall set there. And you can see we are still following within this trend perfectly. If I was to turn this into an area chart, look at how beautiful that rejection is, how perfectly it's following this trend line. It's amazing. And again, this trend line wasn't to be perfect on every single closure. It was just to show you the overall trend. And thus far, it's still behaving that way. So one thing to say, though, is I have a fib pulled, fib retracement from this local high of last year down to the swing low of the recent lows around 28 cents. And you can see we actually busted above the 236 and now we're coming back to it. So if XRP can hold this 236 level, as you can see right here, that's actually very healthy. We could build a little bit of strength there, maybe make a little bit of a bull flag, like a micro bull flag, and then this can take one more leg up. And if it's going to go one more move up, I anticipate 61 cents. So above 61, 63, that's kind of a little bit in the overheated territory in the short term. But we'll have to see how that goes, because if Bitcoin wants to relief into the end of October, like we've been sort of giving that scenario thus far, then we could definitely see XRP make a move into 70 cents. But esoterically, we know that XRP equals 58. So that wouldn't be weird. You know, look right below the 382. And if you look here at this horizontal level, if you were to just pause the video, you can see it's all within these buy zones, the zones that we were returning back to, then recovering from. Right now, we're in a very bearish energy since we broke this support. So what happens to prior support? It becomes new resistance. So we could make it up to 58 or 61, in my opinion, get into the 382, have a rejection, and keel over. And that's not a great performance for XRP because a lot of coins have actually, some coins at least, have made it into the 0.5 fib and then rejected. And you know what that's called? It's the dead cat bounce scenario. So that would take a lot of juice, though, for XRP to make it up to the 0.5 fib and then roll over. But you know, I'm super open-minded regardless. At this time, though, we hit our targets. So, you know, anyone who de-risked on those trades, that was a very smart move. I would not go just jumping into building new positions now right away. That's not financial advice, but just words of wisdom. Take it as you will. The reason I wouldn't go jumping into new trades is because this territory we're in right now, especially with the end of the Shemitah, it's not the safest place to be trading, especially with leverage. This is a really good time to just sit back, observe. And if you don't have any XRP in your portfolio, this could be a good time to get prepared to purchase some. Again, not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I know what I will be doing. If I see a break of 28 cents on XRP, I will be scooping up a bag for sure, just as I did back here when we had the SEC crash. And I remember in my mastermind course, I was telling you guys about that earlier. There's a video in my crypto mastermind on the day of the SEC crash where I was openly saying to everyone, I'm buying XRP at 18 cents, 17 cents. I bought a ton of XRP around that level. It was one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. So even though people have not been seeing handsome returns long-term on this coin, it is a good coin to buy when it's on a discount because it's proven to have these really extreme volatile pumps to the upside. That is why I shared a 55-cent price target, and I'm not giving people any exaggerated $3, $10, $14 price targets right now. We have structure. We have a clear downtrend. We need to just let this play out. So I hope that helps. Words of wisdom regarding XRP. If we're going to break down below the 236, I actually anticipate the next level to the downside will be 39 cents to 40. So that gives you a little bit of a downside range. Pretty much the 236, it would be normal to backtest. If we're going to break below that on daily closes or 2-day closes, I anticipate 38 to 39 cents. A bounce from there would probably be in the cards. And then if we're going to break to the upside and have daily closes above 50 cents, there's definitely a reason for us to move to 58 because we have the Gematria of 58 on XRP, as well as we have the potential to 61 cents. And that's just given the overall move. I could show you another trend line that might also bring some sensibility to this. So if I was to draw this like that, you can see we're getting some more touch points. So that's the local high last year, a touch point, a bunch of touch points there, and then one final rejection before we keeled over. Now, if you go up to like around this time frame of, you know, we're pretty much into that 60 cent right at that area right there. So hope that helps everyone. Been getting a lot of questions on XRP. And if you want to learn how to do this TA on your own and you want to know how to actually learn how to read the charts, that's a good opportunity for my mastermind course because it's going to teach you everything. And I also have a bunch of videos where I do Gematria decodes on XRP. They're very esoteric and they break down a lot of connections mythologically to XRP as well. Let's go to Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin, actually not a lot to say here. We are struggling. This is building a lot of support around the 18,000 level, which I like to see. But ultimately, if we start closing dailies below 18,000, that would be a signal to me to see a lower price for Bitcoin. Somewhere around, you know, I would say probably into the 12,500 to 14,500. That would be my buying range on the bottom. It might seem a little bit low to some people, but Bitcoin is known to have 85% corrections. And if we were to look at this 69,000 down to around 12,500, we're looking at about an 81% correction. And as market cap grows, as the asset becomes more, you know, sophisticated and the players in it, we have more institutional investors, that's kind of where you would anticipate us to have lesser damaging corrections over time. But another thing is if I was to just hold my cursor around here at 12.5, you're going to see a couple things. For one, We have this little crown top, that would be a support. We have this automatic rally, that would be a support. That automatic rally is very crucial. And then if I was to actually turn this into fib-based log scale, you're going to see something else that's very important, which is essentially the 786 to 702, somewhere between 11.5 and 13.5. That would be a very normal area to come and backtest on a return down into the prior horizontal trading range. All right. So if that was confusing, just repeat what I said because it's very important. So prior golden pocket of the prior fractal is very critical still, especially if we're starting to break down below the last all-time high, which is kind of the case right now. Although if you were to see me turn off everything, we're pretty much just back testing the last all-time high. So that's very nice to see. And that's giving me a little more conviction that the 17K level could be the bottom. That would be amazing if that was the play. And if Bitcoin was to return down to 17.6, depending on how the rotation of liquidity is for the rest of the altcoins, even that could be very catastrophic for a lot of altcoins in regards to that move. I know it sounds weird, but we've seen 95% to 99% corrections on a lot of altcoins already. It's not going to take too much for some of them to go to zero. So just consider that we are in a very tight range right now on the Bitcoin play, and we're towing the line between support and breaking down to another leg lower. This is a very clean W that I'm looking at though. So if we're gonna see any buyback, I think once we get over 22K, I would anticipate actually one final relief into like 28.5 or even as high as 30, 31. Again, sounds kind of crazy, but the end of that 1973 market that I've been sharing with you guys has shown me that it's not actually that crazy. These relief rallies can come in when you least expect it. So looking at this range right now, we're really close to breaking support. There's not much to say about that besides if we roll over, filling out the wicks of June 18th and June 19th is in the cards. Any lower than that, we're going to break down to probably 14,500 to 12,500. If we start to actually recover and close dailies above 20,000 again, that is where I would start to see relief. And then you have this W right here with a neckline at 22.5. 22.5 daily closes above, then this bigger W right here will be in play. We'll take it one step at a time. Now, Ethereum, this chart is really looking awkward now. I mean, it's starting to trade around this line that I've had on the chart for a while now. We had this W breakout that came in around July. We broke bullishly out of it, but we never back tested the neckline. And lately we've been back testing that neckline. So that's the one positive thing to say about it. Also, this does have kind of a structure of a bull flag where you can see the flagpole here and the flag itself in formation. This firmament dome that I've been sharing with you guys week after week is continuing to be a significant support level. We back tested it on the 21st since we've bounced and gotten above this yellow line. If we're going to have any relief, it's going to be this key level right here, somewhere around 1600. So we have this white trend line that was holding as a support. We broke through that and you could see what we did. We gravitated right back down to that key level I shared. So that target was perfect. Now, if we were to get bounces up, we also have this line, could be consideration. We also have this horizontal line at 1615. So three big trend lines kind of all coming in at the same place. 1600 would be a nice spot for rejection, and that would be 3 touch points, 3 rejections. Then I would anticipate this to keel over. So holding support at 1200 is very crucial, but if we start to break lower than this trend line right here at like 1170, I do think this is going to continue down the outside of this firmament line, this orange line, and that could bring us all the way down to that 1618 target again into November 7th, somewhere around $800 ETH. So that is the play, guys. If we're going to break above this level right here, we are probably going to continue on another relief to this 2000. So I don't want to give too much out right now because I shared so much in this video. I wanted to give you guys as much value as possible. We're going to continue to track this because this is just the last day of the Shemitah. Tomorrow, I do have an interview with Coach JV over at 3T Warrior Academy. So if you're interested in tuning into that, he was actually the first interview I ever did back in like June or May of 2021, where I exposed the Shmita to his audience. And I'm grateful for him giving me the platform. and letting me expose the significance of the 7-year cycle. And they're a big XRP community over there, so I'm sure we're going to talk about that and the setup as we move into the end of this year. So remember, I have that sale on my courses until the end of this month. All of my courses will be on sale, and it's at watersabove.com/sale, promo code watersabove. I appreciate all of your support. Much love to the Wolfpack.